Let's now cross live to Shivaru, who will be getting us a ground report from Chennai on payday and the rains that have lashed the city.
Thank you very much, Simi. Welcome to our viewers. We're live and this is a special broadcast from Chennai's iconic Marina Beach, where it really is a day that's been a double whammy for Chennai. One, it's payday, the first after demonetization, but it's also a day of great anxiety because we're exactly 1 year standing today at Marina Beach from the devastating Chennai floods of exactly 1 year ago on December the 1st. And right now, as we speak, off the coast of Chennai, I don't know if our viewers can see it, just less than a kilometer from here is the beach itself, where Cyclone Nada has thankfully weakened into a depression, but that doesn't mean that the weather hasn't been topsy-turvy all day today in Chennai. I landed from Delhi earlier today and it's been raining pretty much non-stop ever since I got here. The Navy says that there is a weakening of the cyclone to a cyclonic storm and into a depression, which means that the devastation hopefully and thankfully won't be as much as it was last year, but that doesn't mean there won't be inclement weather all along the coast of Tamil Nadu. In fact, emergency beacons have been lit in Rameshwaram. Seas are rough. There have been fishermen who've been lost at sea, thankfully rescued by the Sri Lankan forces, but things are still pretty much tentative at this point of time. Just a short while ago, Akshaya, my colleague, and I were right here at the Marina Beach to show you how hugely different things are this year compared to 1 year ago. Cyclone Nada may be swirling into nothing more than just a depression off the coast of Tamil Nadu, but I can tell you, as me and my colleague Akshaya now stand right here at the Marina Beach in Chennai, it's been exactly 1 year, Akshaya, since this was a very, very different picture. 365 days ago, we are right now standing in just ankle-deep water. It's drizzling, the rain's getting heavier now, but 1 year ago, Akshaya, this was a disaster zone.
Yes, it was. We were walking in knee-deep or hip-deep water and there was no place, no shops. And we were starving while we were covering, and most of the people in the city as well were in a situation where they didn't have electricity, water, food, and many of them were in a panicky situation.
Yeah.
But thankfully things changed, and this year, though it's not as bad, it's still a brutal reminder.
The winds are actually picking up, if our viewers can actually hear, and we're standing right on near the sand. The water is getting a little deeper as well. The rain is getting a little heavier, but it is still nothing compared to the images that people were subjected to last year. Even right here at the Marina Beach, Akshaya, I remember you here 1 year ago. There were crowds initially who had gathered, but after that there was a panic that suddenly spread and people had to disappear home because there were waist-deep water even here.
Yes, exactly. So the thing is, initially it was kind of a exciting situation. People haven't seen something like this in a long time. After tsunami, it's something big that was happening here, and they wanted to experience it firsthand. But after the reality set in that, they were not able to go back, they were not able to reach their loved ones, that's when the brutal stuff happened. And it was also enlightening that, people in Chennai were so welcoming, and they also wanted to help around. So that was kind of a great thing that happened at that time, that people coming in, volunteering, giving food out and sharing stuff.
Absolutely. Well, emergency services in the city was really tested to its maximum limit. Even now, as we stand here on the Marina Beach, I can tell you that even though the Navy and the Indian Met Department have told both Akshaya and myself that Cyclone Nada is petering out, it will not be anything as intense as what happened 1 year ago. The situation is still tense. The trauma of what happened 1 year ago, Akshaya and many of our colleagues in the industry covered it very closely. They didn't get to go home for many days together simply because it was impossible to get through the huge amount of waterlogging that crippled Chennai for days together in November, December last year. Hopefully this time will be different. The winds are picking up, the rains are getting heavier, and Cyclone Nada remains off the coast of Tamil Nadu, expected to make landfall a little later today. With Akshaya Nath and Daniel in Chennai, this is Shivaru for India Today. The trauma of last year is something that simply cannot be understated. This city was virtually completely paralyzed by a huge deluge of water from the flooding. And that's why the anxiety this time around is perhaps justifiable. Joining me right now on this special broadcast live from Chennai's Marina Beach is K. Srikanth. Srikanth, welcome. He runs an organization called Chennai or Marekalam, which is a time of rains in Chennai. He runs a popular blog as well, and in his spare time actually looks at the weather and analyzes weather patterns as well. Srikanth, totally justifiable, I feel, that Chennaites are anxious now when they see rain after what they saw last year. It was an emotionally traumatic time for so many people. Many people suffered in a megapolis like Chennai. What are you seeing this time around?
I think the first question which people ask is, would it be like last year?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's become a watershed moment in terms of rains for Chennai and Chennai citizens. Anytime you say it's going to rain, I think that's now the watershed.
It's a psychosis almost.
It's almost a psychosis now, okay? And this happened during the month of May when there was a cyclone close by to Chennai and people were very panicky. Again, this time people are very panicky. The only, the whole thing now revolves around whether would it be very heavy? I mean, I think people are still coming to terms that the rains may not be as heavy as last year always.
Yeah.
I mean, it cannot be repeated every time, and
Is there anything that Chennaites need to look out for? Because I think after last year, preparations will be at the highest level no matter what. But is there something like, for example, schools have been shut down for 2 days in Chennai and other parts of Tamil Nadu. That alone, tells people on the outside that, things are, people are not taking any chances sending their children to school as well. So there is apart from the psychosis, there is a preparatory sort of instinct right now after what happened last year.
yeah, I think there is certainly a preparatory instinct in terms of what should be done. But I would also say that maybe we should not take this overboard. Okay, like say for example, we are talking of should offices run, should we look at shifting people around and all. I mean, if say for example things are going to be bad, IMD is going to make it very early. There are others also like us, of course. We would try to infer and give advance information if something like this is going to happen. But we should possibly make it as a balance between being prepared and being panicky. I think there's going to be a fine line now as far as Chennai goes.
After the floods last year, Srikanth, there were many reports about, the swamps outside Chennai, the environmental degradation, the dumping and the reclamation of land that had caused some of this, was a direct factor in much of this flooding, without which perhaps it would not have been this intense. I know 1 year is a very short time for any city, but in the last 1 year, by your reckoning, have things improved? Have lessons been learned from last year?
I think it's bits and pieces. Okay. Now, if you see, I've been still seeing stormwater drain work being undertaken as of today. We are on December 1st. Fag end of monsoon, if you ask me, for Chennai on a normal year.
Yes.
Okay, and still work being done. Plus, I don't see active water body reclamation yet happening. Okay. Now, Chennai is a flat land. Okay, let's accept it. Without the water bodies, you're going to see this every year. There's going to be a heavy rain. That's a given now. Okay. Plus, the OMR, ECR roads have all been built on swamplands. How much do we retrieve the water bodies?
Yes.
Or can we look at alternates like, say for example, Tokyo has a underground canal system where they store water. Okay, and then they reuse it as potable water after whatever mechanisms. Should we look at something like that? I think that's something which we need to think of, because you can't now go back to saying that okay, all the IT parks should be shut and let's go back to the swamps, because we've crossed that line now. How do we do it?
Very quickly. So it's still possible that something that happened last year could happen again.
Yes. As long as we do not address the water body issue, I think flooding is a serious and a genuine threat to Chennai on a heavy rainfall year.
Okay, so it's something that can still be accepted. That's a pretty dire warning from someone who looks at this perhaps closer than anyone else, on a daily basis. The fact that the trauma of last year may not be back this year, thank heavens for that, but it could be a reality at some point in the future. So that's the weather right now. It stopped raining here in Chennai for the moment, but who's to say whether it won't start again in a short while from now. But as we broadcast this, as we spend the day and the week here in Chennai, let's remind our viewers that it's not just the rain. It's a double whammy really for the people of Chennai.